A very good evening to you and welcome to Rwanda Television News. My name is Sam Kalisa, and as we kick it off tonight, on Friday, President Paul Kagame met and held separate meetings with Sir Ian Wood, the chairman of the Wood Foundation, and Remy Rioux, the Director General of the French Development Agency. We do have the report with Serge Node.
President Kagame received Sir Ian Wood, the chairman of the Wood Foundation, which recently signed over its majority ownership of the Murindi tea factory to more than 5,000 local farmers. The factory produces 18 million kilos of green leaf every year and becomes the first smallholder-owned tea factory in Rwanda. The president also received the Director General of the French Development Agency, Remy Rioux, who on Thursday launched the agency's new office in Kigali. Also present was France's ambassador in Rwanda, Antoine, who said the discussions between the two dignitaries focused on Rwanda-France bilateral relations. Rwanda and the AFD on Friday signed an agreement including Expertise France and Propaco. In the original agreement the country signed with the agency last year.
We have signed the memorandum between us, our country, and the French government through their development agencies. Actually, there are two arms of the development agencies. There is public and private. And these two arms are going to work from Rwanda. They are going to have their headquarters in Kigali. And they are going to participate in the development. One financing public investments, the other one financing private investments. So it's an initiative that we should be happy with. They want to work with us. We have told them that we need to be partners in this journey, and they're happy to go that route. And for us as a government, we are happy with that.
Expertise France is the French public agency for the design and implementation of international technical cooperation projects, while Propaco focuses on private sector development. Both are subsidiaries of AFD.
On Friday afternoon, the First Lady, Her Excellency Jeanette Kagame, received Mrs. Catherine Russell, the Executive Director of UNICEF, at the offices of Imbuto Foundation for an exchange on a fruitful collaboration across several programs which date as far as the Foundation's first project. Catherine Russell is scheduled to meet with youth and other officials during her visit here in Rwanda. On education matters, a 4-year national plan for teaching and learning French in Rwandan schools system has been launched. This has been made possible through an agreement signed between Rwanda's Ministry of Education and the French Development Agency.
We spoke to students asking them about their views on the French language, and even the very young seem to understand the importance of being able to communicate in the language that is used by more than 250 million people globally. There are teachers too expressed their desire to be able to receive training on how to properly teach French, noting that fluency in the language opens up opportunities. That is the language I studied using, so learning it further would not be difficult for me, and I would be able to help others too. Rwanda's Minister of Education has pointed out that the national plan for teaching and learning French in the country's school system is crucial for the people's long-term development both here and abroad, emphasizing that an individual or country does not choose what sort of investment opportunities pop up or the language investors communicate in, which is why properly learning languages like French is important. The Director General of the French Development Agency sees this as an opportunity not just for Rwanda, but for all French speakers.
C'est une chance pour les Rwandaises et pour les Rwandais, c'est une chance pour nous tous.
It is an opportunity for Rwanda and all Rwandans, but an opportunity for us all because the Rwandan children that will learn French will play a role in its promotion and development, introducing Kinyarwanda words into the French language, becoming French language musicians and poets. And that enriches and expands a language. It is good that Rwanda has gotten this voice in the francophone community.
Entendre cette voix dans la francophonie.
10 million euros will be spent on the 4-year plan and complements the efforts of the International Organization of la Francophonie that currently has volunteers here in Rwanda training teachers on the French language. Up to 70 such volunteers are expected to be in the country by next year.
Members of the Parliament have called on the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning to improve the planning and monitoring of government projects in order to minimize losses. We don't have more. On Friday, the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Uzien Ndagijimana, was summoned by the Chamber of Deputies to address challenges related to planning and monitoring of public projects and issues in the procurement process. Some of the issues that were highlighted by parliamentarians include the implementation of the government projects without a clear study, tenders that are given on prices that are above the planned budget, failure to utilize funds given by donors, constructed infrastructures, as well as other assets that are bought but not used effectively, delayed projects, delay in paying contractors, and more, as it appeared in the Auditor General's report 2019-2020. The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Uzien Ndagijimana, acknowledged that there has been mistakes, pointing out what has been done to correct those mistakes. We pledged to always follow up on the implementation of projects and how those projects grow, and a report will be given to show the progress of a given project with clear information on the time frame for the implementation of the project and the budget, and assessing if the project is being implemented in accordance to the law. Regarding procurement, we initiated a system to help us monitor the entire process so it can be done effectively. The plenary session of the Chamber of Deputies expressed a satisfaction with the explanation given by the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning on the issues raised. Members of the Rwanda's business community have begun talks with the French Development Agency on possible partnerships and support, something the Director General of the agency has expressed a willingness to consider.
The French company Bolloré Logistics has been operating in Rwanda since 1965 and over the decades has invested more than 40 billion Rwandan francs in the country, which is why its executives are happy that Rwanda-France bilateral relations are on the mend.
So nibwira ko hari ubushake ku mpande zombi bwo kugira ngo
I believe there is certainly the will on both sides to expand trade. We follow such developments closely, and that is not exclusive only to French affairs because we work all over the world, as I told you. But looking particularly at Rwanda-French relations, they are very important to us and an opportunity that as a company we do not intend to waste.
imikoranire ndetse n'imibanire myiza y'ibihugu twumva rero tutazatangwa kugira icyo tuyakuramo.
The French Development Agency is indeed looking to significantly increase the amount of effort it puts in different projects on the African continent, in Rwanda in particular, focusing on the digital front among other areas.
Nous sommes partout dans le monde et nous voulons bien sûr l'être.
We are present globally and of course we want to be here in Rwanda too, and in all capacities. We believe that the Digital Africa initiative we started is very important and will benefit Rwanda. Plus, we have spoken to the government of Rwanda pertaining to the digital front, of course.
Avec le gouvernement rwandais sur le digital, bien sûr.
The French Development Agency has pledged 200 million euros for Rwanda over the next 2 years, in addition to the 218 million euros it has provided since 2019. And the Rwandan government has expressed gratitude for the support, as was reiterated by Claudine Uwera, the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, who also pointed to the partnership that now exists between the two countries to promote the French language in Rwandan schools. Investors here in Rwanda have also been looking to boost their operations with the support of the AFD.
L'AFD, côté non-businessman, l'AFD a le volet.
The AFD supports businessmen and women in the private sector through the fund that was set up for that purpose. We are currently in talks with them to see if they can support our project, and I can confirm that the talks are going well and that they are interested in investing in the private sector.
Donc je confirme que pour Parco, ils sont là pour des investissements du secteur privé.
The 30 French companies currently working in Rwanda have also formed an association to make known the investment opportunities that exist in the country so that more companies can invest in Rwanda as well.
Some of the people who seek services from hotels and restaurants in the city of Kigali find that in order to make service delivery even better, providers should be trained and taught foreign languages. The Private Sector Federation says it is going to put more effort into the hospitality sector as part of preparations for the Commonwealth Heads of State and Government meeting. Chagam, we do have more. It is day hours, and all around hotels and restaurants in the city of Kigali, workers are busy with their work, and work has resumed to normalcy after the sector was hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Those who seek services from these hotels and restaurants appreciate the continued improvement in service delivery. We get served properly. Waiters are always around to ask what you want, different from long ago when you could spend an hour waiting to be served. However, sometimes a foreigner comes and there is no one who can understand their language and give them what they want. Every 3 months, the City of Kigali administration holds talks with the private sector practitioners in the City of Kigali to thank them for their contribution to its development, as well as highlighting existing gaps to be improved. Some of the private sector practitioners are proud to be involved in the development of the city, although they also need help in order to improve their performance. Let's say I invest in constructing a commercial building. The city of Kigali does its best to encourage people who still work from poorly constructed areas to come, rent and work from my house. Kigali City Mayor Prudence Rubingisa says the private sector plays a big role in the development of the city, hence the administration putting in a lot of effort to improve a service delivery in the city. We need to evaluate and see what level each sector stands on so that even where there are still loopholes, they can be covered and keep the good image of our country, which is receiving visitors well. The chairman of the Private Sector Federation, Robert Bafakurera, praised the way the city of Kigali presents investment opportunities to the private sector, noting that the hospitality sector is a major factor in the development of the city of Kigali. In preparations for the Commonwealth Heads of State and Government meeting CHOGM, PSF pledged to put in a lot of effort in improving service delivery, especially in the hospitality sector. We are aware of the CHOGM, which will kick off in June, despite being postponed for 2 times. We have continued to get prepared and encouraging our colleagues to get ready as well to provide better services. Figures from the Rwanda Development Board, RDB, indicate that in the year 2020, investment projects worth $1.3 billion were registered, and that increased in 2021, where investment projects worth $3.7 billion were registered. This project will be implemented in a 5-year period and will create up to 48,000 jobs. Equally, in 2021, Rwanda's economy grew by 10.9%, with the private sector contribution accounting for 41%. The Rwanda Governance Board recently revealed that the private sector services in Rwanda are provided at the rate of 89.4%. The Rwanda National Investment Trust Limited was created by the government of Rwanda through the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning back in 2016 to promote a saving culture among the Rwandans. And on Friday, members held at the General Assembly. The members of the fund noted that they trust the security of the money because the fund is 100% a government fund. Gatera Jonathan, the CEO of the Rwanda National Investment Trust, emphasizes that this fund was put in place in order to facilitate an easy way of saving, and he is advising especially the youth to keep the culture of saving.
To the young people, Rwanda is we are lucky. We have a young generation, and so to you young people, this is a benefit you need to grab, because as I mentioned, the return on investment is very attractive and it is tax exempted. So you need to use this chance, and then you save at the early age for a better retirement, not only retirement but also for your own development.
And on behalf of the entire news production team that made it happen, thank you very much for being with us, and let us say have a safe evening and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Goodbye.